Hello to everyone who is tuning in from different parts of the world. Thank you for joining us. I hope, Tanya, we will be able to see your messages because for some reason they are being retracted. I hope it can be remedied. And for this special occasion of the new moon, we have Fritzi joining us in the corner there. Let's see for how long will he stay there because recently when we've started our live broadcast, he like kind of sensed it or something, and yeah, like he got down from his platform there. For some reason, I think he like senses that he's being watched, and I guess he doesn't really like it. So currently he's there, and let's see how long he will stay there. So thank you everyone for joining us. Hello, Waking Gaia Oracle Messages. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, like if we now it is the full moon today. Also, we are having a solar eclipse, and I've just released a channeled message from Sirius from Blue. Yeah, like 2 or 3 hours ago. If you haven't seen it, please check it out and see if it resonates or it holds some interesting activation for you at this time right now. And after Ellie, when Ellie joins in, I hope that she will remind me of the question that she had. But until then, like how is everyone doing in different parts of the world basically? I've been getting some information from across America and other parts of Europe that interesting stuff are unfolding, stuff are starting to come to the surface basically, and more people are having the choice to face the reality that they live in rather than evade it even more. But I think that only makes it even more difficult for them to be here right now. So yeah, like especially the energies that are coming in right now. We are having also a new moon. We are also having an eclipse. So all of this, it's basically yeah, like also the message said, it's the ring of fire. It's like a portal that we're passing through right now into a new reality, into new ways of being. Okay, so Ali has joined us. I'm here just driving back 5 minutes. Okay. So, Waking Gaia Oracle is having a hard day. Yeah, like we're having many hard days recently on all parts of the world. Being good vibes all day, seemed all the darkness is leaving today. Yeah, like we're constantly having this fluctuation of we're feeling very good, like we're really feeling this new earth reality is merging with our reality and we're sensing it more and more, but then all of a sudden everything just fluctuates and like goes down and you're having a very crappy day at the same time, then comes back again. Yeah, like also the scratch on my forehead, I had a really uh, hard day on the Monday, and while I was reading a text message, I slammed my head into a gutter on the garage since someone built their garage very low and I'm very tall. I'm like 6 feet and a half. And if you don't put something at 7 feet, then yeah, I bumped in a lot of stuff during my life. So I had the reflex to whenever I enter someplace, I like duck a bit for just for safety's sake. It's not always needed, but in this part of the country where we moved right now, for some reason, people build their homes, not just their homes, but all the doors are very low for some reason that I don't know, because there are many tall people here too. Maybe it's an old tradition or something. I have no clue, but it's very annoying. So, okay, so hello Fatima, thank you for joining us. So, higher vibrations, crazy energies going on here, and lots of weird and uncommon military activity, extreme exhaustion, and no sleep in sight. Yeah, like, especially if you have sirens going on in the middle of the night, it's difficult to have a good night's rest. We've been also experiencing some airway activity in this region, even though I'm in Eastern Europe. But yeah, like we're experiencing this upheaval on a global scale right now. And Lisa, is the gravity changing on Earth? I have no clue, but yeah, like you probably are also feeling these ascension symptoms that you're disorientated. Like I'm also having those moments of the day when I feel like I'm heavy. I wake up with a hangover. For example, like in the weekend, yeah, like I had a relatively good night's sleep, even though in the morning I felt super exhausted, like I was maybe working all night long. And that whole feeling of like a hangover or super exhaustion, like persisted all through the weekend. So, yeah, it was not a pleasant thing to experience. Priestess at home, thank you for joining us. Hello to all. So good to see everyone. It is a wonderful day here with me. It's a different every day though, yeah. We're going through so many shifts and changes. Yeah, yeah, like we're discussing how gravity is changing, or at least our perception of gravity is changing. Yeah, like I bet many of you are feeling this dizziness that is going on constantly. Like when you have that feeling that, or that thought that maybe today it wouldn't be a good idea for me to drive into town or go into traffic with a car. And yeah, like I should rather take a taxi or something similar. Okay, so Gaia awakening. The pressure in the head seems to be more intense lately. Schumann resonance all over the place. Geomagnetic activity has gone up too. Like, does anyone know? I'm not clear on it. Like, I know that the Schumann resonance, I think that's like the basic tone of the Earth or like the basic frequency of the Earth. But why does it fluctuate? Like, why does it go up in spikes? Like, something is happening, like the sun is emitting something toward us, or maybe Gaia is going through some shift and changes. Because I also heard that it can go up when maybe people are doing like a mass meditation or something, and the frequency of the collective is like jumps up while they're doing it. Like, yeah, like what's going on in those instances, basically. Okay, so yes, exactly what I'm feeling. I have been up and down. I've had to be alone a lot as nobody understands around me. Yeah, like I'm feeling the same damn thing, Ali. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be as much alone as possible, especially outside in nature. Thankfully, you have a garden and it's springtime, although it's summertime here. But yeah, like we had a very late spring here in Eastern Europe. It was very cold. Even today, our nights are very cold, unusually cold. We had frost at the end of April, so our spring came very late. And we are still doing the spring cleaning around the gardens. At least I kind of have to do because I didn't have time to work on it that much. But yeah, I'm trying to spend as much time outside on the air as possible, and that helps really a lot, especially for with sleeping. Higher vibration, yes, Schumer reports doesn't seem correct, as if they should be higher than they are reporting. However, they are showing Schumann instability. Yeah, like I also heard from different sources that they're having these off the charts scale, basically, that they don't really have the proper measurements for, and you can just see like the resonance going like this in a normal wave, and then it just like disappears up, and no one knows how high or something similar. And they're kind of, I think they're trying to like recalibrate or to readjust what is considered standard or normal, so people will think that nothing's going on, that nothing's changing, and these high frequencies and these spikes are not actually happening. But yeah, like I think everyone feels it to a certain degree, even if they're aware or unaware of what is going on consciously. But I think everyone is feeling it, that something's in the air, and it is going to be very interesting when it's going to unfold more in the public domain, in my humble opinion. Okay, so Lisa, I weigh 30 pounds. I have no clue how much that is in kilograms, pounds more, but all my clothes still fit. Okay, I don't know how much 30 pounds are. So, Priestess, yes, dizzy, lethargic, and sleepy a lot. Yeah, I also had to kind of like integrate afternoon sleep into my program. I don't really sleep much, but it feels really good to just like switch off my conscious mind and to just allow my subconscious to come forth and relax a bit. I found that that really helps. Like if you have the opportunity to do it, maybe try it out. I also found that having orgonite around you can really help and improve those instabilities. Like I have my sleeping pod, higher vibration has her own too. It's made of shungite, or I don't know, probably many of you know what orgonite is made of. It's made of shungite, quartz crystal, brass, iron powder, and it's all held together by resin. And it's a great transformer, it's a transmuter of negative stuff into positive energies. So it kind of takes everything that's out of the ordinary or out of the flow and brings it back into a natural vibration. So you don't feel that extra pressure and disorientation. I use it usually when I experience heart palpitation because that can happen too. I usually like lay down a bit or put it on my chest and it really helps. Or when I'm having that pressure in the head or here in the, I think it's called the temporal region, I think. I put it on my head, lay down a bit, and maybe in like 5 minutes it recalibrates the thing. So that could be a good trick if you have one. If you don't, like if especially if you're in America, you can find like a lot of shops or online stores that sell orgonite. Like set the intent to find a proper one for you. Like just find a good seller. I found that it really helps, especially with the electromagnetic radiation. It's really good for filtering that out of your air and in your energetic field, since we're bombarded with so much crap on a daily basis. Okay, so higher vibrations. The Schumann is the basic resonance of the Earth. The high peaks are when the energy goes up. This has been seen as coming from within the Earth and solar flares. From now they see we cause it. Oh, though now they see we cause it too. Yeah, like we also have an effect on the field of the Earth, basically. So, waking Gaia, Earth is in a photonic belt. Our poles are shifting. Something big is coming. Yeah, like she's transforming too right now, not just we. And since we're also here, then what? Since we're also here, we're going through the same thing. Since we're in the body of Mother Earth, and we are our bodies is made up of her substance, and yeah, we're intrinsically connected with her, and we all have a choice if we want to stay here and go with her on the next step of the journey, or if we want to stay behind, basically. And I think this choice will become much, much more evident to more and more people. And I think if you don't really decide consciously what you want, it will be much more difficult later on to like come back from that lower state of being than you could have done maybe a year ago or even now. But yeah, like who knows what will happen. Hello, Water Child. Yes, we have a kitty. He's Fritzi. Yeah, like that's the nickname in Hungarian for Frederick, basically. So it's Frederick in, in English. So, Jocelyn, hello from Southern California. Thank you for joining us. No sleep last night. I blame it on the eclipse energy. Lots of iced coffee for me today. Happy to be with all of you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, like I also, since we had our little daughter, I reintegrated daily coffee into our routine. And I start my day with a jasmine green tea, and later in the afternoon I drink black tea too. So yeah, I'm constantly stimulating my nervous system to keep on functioning during the day, basically. Hello, Mia. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I don't sleep much either. Being knocked out, strange. Yeah, like I also feeling this or having this sensation that maybe recently all this week, like I only slept like 4 or 5 hours, but I feel like it's kind of enough. Since when my body wakes me up in the morning, I feel much more energized rather than the alarm clock waking me up. So I'm very thankful for that, but sadly I can't really go to sleep very early on. and my body wakes me up in the middle, I mean, like maybe at 7 a.m. or something similar, or when the sun comes up. So I don't get much sleep, but I try to recover during the meditation sessions that I keep when you're like drawing on the balance of Mother Earth and like re energizing yourself from her energies, from her life force, when you're drawing it in a conscious way, because we're constantly in her life force energy field. Like that's what keeps us here. That's what makes everything work here on Earth to be alive, and we are drawing on it constantly and to a certain extent. Like you can do it in a conscious way, like when you sit down and meditate, and you do maybe like you supercharge the process when you like do a quick charge with your phone or something similar. But it kind of also happens during the day to a certain extent, because you have to be kept alive basically to be on this plane. And it happens more during the night when our consciousness is resting and our body is resting, and our body goes into this resting, regeneration, and recharge phase basically. And if you don't have that recharge phase of your body, then stuff can go rapidly out of balance for you. But yeah, like you can recuperate through yoga. You can recuperate by consciously doing this recharging with Mother Earth during your meditation. You can like recover a few hours of sleep, maybe in 20 minutes or 15 minutes, if you're like focusing on it properly. Can really do wonders to harmonize with the core, with the heart center of Mother Earth, and kind of visualize it that your heart center is united with her heart center, and your flower of life is drawing energy from her flower of life. And yeah, like ask for a recharge, ask for a reboot, that you're nourished and sustained. And yeah, like if you're not sure of it, then ask for guidance and ask her to guide you through the process basically. I kind of got the sense, like just like I did last uh, channeling session with the Thoth message that I published on the Sunday, that I'm maybe going to do another similar message with this whole thing on how to connect to the flower of life of Mother Earth and how to use it for different things. But I'm not sure if I will be allowed to write that down, but we will see later on. Okay, so yeah, I don't sleep much. Yeah, higher vibrations. I have a sleeping pod, and we also have pendants. They are so amazing. It works so well. Yeah, like I got a pendant too. I can't get it right now. It's very similar to the sleeping pod, although it's like a little coin. Like I didn't know how much it does. Like if anyone has any experiences with it, like I know that this works pretty well for my body because it has like a proper amount of crystals and material in it. But if you have the same materials, maybe in a smaller scale, like something like this, and it's also very slim, maybe is it as much effective? So maybe is it worth it wearing? I don't know. Like I put it on my router or in my PC to like absorb and transform the electromagnetic waves of the electronic equipment around me. But the pyramids that I have, I can't show it to you right now because I'm plugged into the microphone. It's like this big, basically. It's a black shungite pyramid, but it's an orgonite, but the main component is shungite. And yeah, like it works wonders. Like I bought four, I gridded the house. So we have two in this part of the house and two at the other part of the house. So it kind of locks in our apartment in like a rectangle shape. And I find that it works beautifully. So absolutely the energy of the whole place has shifted. And yeah, like if you have tuned in like last week or before that, you know I talked about how crappy the energy is here on this apartment complex basically. So yeah, like it helps a lot with it. And I'm also having better night's sleep. So at least when I'm sleeping well. I'm not sleeping much, but I'm at least having a restful night in these parts. Okay, the temple of your head. Yeah, like this is the temple of the head. I know that there's some kind of temporal lobe. but that's probably something different. That's on the inside. Okay, so Epiphany, thank you for joining us. Orgonite, Argonite. I think it is called Orgonite, and it is channeling orgone energy. I think it is if orgone energy is defined like the natural biological energy of the universe, basically this life force energy that keeps everything intact, the force basically from Star Wars. So Ellie, I have night vision, uh, binoculars for nature only, so you're not spying on your neighbors. That's very nice. Uh, it records and a sphere appears pure white and huge. The magnetic waves are clear as day, pulling and pushing. It's nuts. Yeah, like that's also very interesting when you have like a security camera, especially with night vision. You see all these interesting recordings that you leave it out during the night, and it is possible that the camera, not as possible, but the cameras usually are able to perceive a wider spectrum of light than our physical eyes. So it's very interesting to see from time to time that weird stuff appear on the recording. It's yeah, like it's not always accurate. It can be maybe an error or something, but yeah, like you can search for interesting footages on the internet with people capturing beings and interesting light phenomena in their houses or in the yard, or strange beings have a walk on their yard during the night. Yeah, and if you're not in tune with this stuff, then it can be very freaky for some. Okay, so higher vibrations, yeah, like Fix the World Morocco sells them online. They are amazing. Yeah, like you can check out their site. I bought first these sleeping pods just to test it because I never had an organite crystal or pyramid ever. I tested it out for like 2 months, and after that I ordered four black pyramids for gridding the house, and it's really damn good. So I highly recommend it. It's Fix the World Morocco. It comes from Morocco, so it comes from Africa. So I needed like a month or so to come to me, but yeah, like you can pay with PayPal or whatever you like, but you will have to wait a bit for it. For shipping is kind of tricky right now internationally, and probably also in the US too. I don't know about the US to be honest. Okay, so Ali, wow, you're sealed in the forehead. Yeah, it looks pretty good now because on Monday there was like a clear split of the skin open like this, so I'm regenerating pretty fast, thank goodness. It's so awesome to see Fritzi. I've missed him. Yeah, like you can barely see him because he turned his back, but at least he's there. We haven't seen him live for like half a year, maybe, I think. Or even right now, probably is too lazy to get down from the platform. Okay, so how is the weather there? Has the vibe changed? You are across the world from me. Where are you from? Waking Gaia Oracles. I'm in Transylvania in Romania. That's Eastern Europe. South to Russia, basically, and south to Ukraine. Probably some of you know where Ukraine is right now. Yeah, like we have like very tricky weather. Like it shifts 3 times a day. We may have a very warm summer day, but maybe in a few hours we're going to have a cold storm, maybe. But we haven't had ice, thank goodness. But yeah, it shifts around a lot. But at least it's not super hot. So I really don't like hot weather. So higher vibrations. The weather has been really unstable here. Yep. Here in the island of Washington State. Drop down to freezing. What? Oh my goodness. Drop down to freezing, then back up to the boiling point the next day and back again. Yep, same. We haven't had frost, but it's pretty damn cold during the night. Like usually at this time of the year, it's like double the temperature as it is right now, basically. And also, as I've said, summer, and well, not summer, but spring came very late today. So it's probably not going to be good for the this year's crops. Yeah, and Priestess, same here in New Mexico. Oh, you're from is that? I think that's Arizona. I put on the pendant on my daughter without explaining what it was, and she knew right away what it was. She said, it is making the energy clean. Thank you. Yeah, it's purifying stuff, but especially for the electromagnetic radiation is not very pleasant or beneficial for our bodies and minds at this stage. Aqua Pass, thank you for joining us. I don't think I've seen you so far in our live chats. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the light language video. Can you do an Arcturian light language video? I have no clue. We will have to see. I usually don't really have a clear intent, like I want to do this type of light language video, that type of light language video. Kind of just sit down to record stuff and see what comes through. And while I'm recording, I usually also state for myself as a note, like, okay, like this is that, or this transmission came from there. Okay, and Fritzi is doing some maintenance in the background. Okay, so Ali, so sunny in Scotland, strange clouds, but the sky is so beautiful. I walk about watching it all day. Yeah, like spend as much time in nature as possible, or at least as much as you're permitted right now. So higher vibrations, I hope you get permission to do the flower transmission. That sounds awesome. Yeah, like we will have to see. Well, basically the keys for the flower meditations are in the Emerald Tablets of Thought, so you can check it out there, although it is kind of encoded in it, and if you don't know what to search for, probably won't find it. But yeah, it's there. If you're listening to it and you will probably pinpoint it when you hear it, if you know what you're searching for. I have been seeing the Flower of Life symbol. I would love to know more. Yeah, like I think you can check out Junvalo Melchizedek's teachings. Like I think he was the one that brought back into the collective knowledge of the contemporary civilization basically what the flower of life means, and all these teachings and all these codes and sacred geometry that is related to the flower of life. It's basically, I don't know, like in a nutshell, they're basically circles, and you can perceive a circle as maybe a field of energy, and another circle is another field of energy. And when these circles intersect, it creates this vesica Pisces. It's called the vesica Pisces geometric form. And this intersection is like the reflection of energy, like I'm emitting my own energy and I'm receiving it back. And basically, this is the interaction between fields or something similar. It represents our connection to one another. And basically, the pattern, if you draw it correctly, it works to infinite. Basically, you can continue to infinity because like it symbolizes our complete interconnectedness with everything, and you can like visualize it that it's in your hearts, maybe like your heart center is emanating this flower of light symbol, flower of life. Also, you can call it flower of light because the same thing, it's the same thing. And also, it's the energy that is like emanated from the core of Mother Earth, and through this flower of life grid or network, collective energy, we are nourished, we are transmitting energy back and forth to one another, basically. So basically, when you look at it from a grand and from an absolute point of view, we are in each other's fields constantly. And you can also go into it like from a geometric standpoint. You can also find like all the basic platonic solids and also basic geometric shapes in the flower of life. When I think you have to combine 13 circles to create the cube of Metatron, which contains all the basic geometric shapes, and I think it also refers to the basic building blocks of creation or something similar. I haven't visited this subject for quite some time, but it's interesting to know because through it, you can connect to basically anything, and that's kind of how you can use it in a practical sense. Okay, Ali, I have been seeing The Flower of Life and I've just read that. Okay. Okay, so Venusian, thank you for joining us. High vibrations. And Ali, I'm thinking of putting them on YouTube so you can see too. I tried to email you, but I got wrong. Okay, well, you can share it with all of us. Just please let us know. Okay, I got out and recorded a certain area, and there is a portal. The things I have footage of his way out there. I can't write enough on chat. Yeah, like that's the limitations of this platform, basically, sadly. Yeah, like you can create videos with it or share it on YouTube if you want to. Just, yeah, like let us know the interesting stuff that you have recorded. And Priestess at Home. I am at Albuquerque, I think that's how you pronounce it, New Mexico, which is the state just east of Arizona. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you for the clarification. Is anyone noticing the energy shifts the past few days? I'm suddenly getting so many past life memories and also knowledge downloads so constant the past few weeks. Yup, high energies that suddenly extreme exhaustion and so very dizzy and my whole body buzzy and clicking like light electricity. Wow. Yeah, like high vibrations does a lot of clicking when she is being activated. Yeah, like basically people asked me in the past few weeks, like, have I had like any ET experiences or I have seen anything interesting from the ETs, and I basically there's like complete silence from that part for me. And in the past, like I think almost like a month, it was like a complete absence of their presence. And like in the past month, I was mostly or almost completely like preoccupied with yeah, with what higher vibrations said, with remembering stuff, memories coming back from other lifetimes, and basically like receiving like visions and like activations, like okay, like I'm here right now doing this job, and I kind of like got visions like back from lifetime to lifetime, back throughout history to a specific point, I believe at the beginning or before the cycle of Atlantis started, back to Sirius, and I received like a download, like okay, like I decided I think they are like eighth dimensional beings, however you can imagine that, in Sirius, like very highly evolved spiritual beings, and some of them came here to Earth to teach the children of Atlantis the knowledge of the stars and all this cosmic knowledge of the all in all, so they can evolve. And yeah, like I think I decided to incarnate here, to stay here for the duration when they completely like get out of this lower state of being, and they can like leave that old stuff behind and come back into the light as it originally it should have been, basically. And I've seen like many lifetimes in Atlantis. I've seen many lifetimes, especially in ancient Egypt. Like I had a very huge crush in ancient Egypt because I don't know like how many lifetimes I've seen there, and I like played different roles. Like I was part of the royal family, I was part of the priesthood, or both in the same lifetime. Because like, yeah, like I found out recently that if you're advanced in your age, maybe you have like a political career in ancient Egypt, and maybe you like kind of retire from it, like maybe you're too old or something, and you decide like, okay, I had enough of this, I'm going to retire, and now I'm going to completely dedicate my life uh, to spirituality, to the exploration of consciousness, and to have these priestly duties in life, like to like I don't know, like similar to how not priest, how do they call them? I think, oh my goodness, like how do you call not priests, but the people who go to monasteries and like retire there and like they renounce their life, their previous life, to be in the service of God and to serve the church. Oh my God, monks. Okay, thank you. And to live a similar life as the monks that you have renounced or left behind your old life, maybe in as a royal in the family or as a politician or something similar, and you retire to be a priest or something similar, because if you were in the royal family or higher up, you were also initiated in the secret doctrines and in these mystery teachings. Maybe not to the same extent as maybe the priests were, but especially in the royal family, in my humble opinion, they were very much in tune with these mystical teachings, especially that they had like very strong connections also genetically to their predecessors, the Atlanteans from whom they descended, basically. Yeah, and I got like a lot of memories from that. I also seen like Hermes. I also seen like a lot of ancient Greek, and I've seen the Renaissance period, which was very interesting. And I don't know if any of you know like a bit of history. And the Renaissance period, yeah, basically what kickstarted the Renaissance was that these ancient teachings, which were like copied, came into the possession of European nobles or people that were influential because of the Crusades, because in the East, in the Islamic countries, they copied the secret sacred text and many of them studied it. And through conquering some of these territories during the Crusades, they brought back these uh, copies of ancient texts and they had these revelations. I think that's when, I don't know how it was called, they translated Corpus Hermeticum in Latin. And that's kind of part of what started the whole Renaissance movement and this new thought movement that the human being came back into the forefront of consciousness and they haven't renounced themselves in all these, I don't know, like all the doctrines of the Dark Ages, basically. But yeah, like I lived in that period too, and I think I was part of the people that alchemists or like magi or something similar, and yeah, like we were burned at the stake at the end of the day, so that was not a very pleasant thing to remember. Yeah, like I think that's part in why we are so like I don't know, like private about these stuff, because like we've been hurt and hunted and killed so many times throughout history for carrying this knowledge, because the powers that were didn't really want it to, yeah, like come out, because it's empowering and it gives basically empowerment to the people to realize that they don't need to live the life that they lived so far. And yeah, that's very bad for certain individuals. Okay, okay, so here is the monks. Hello, Maricela. Thank you for joining us. Happy to be here. Thank you for being here. So priestess, this is basically what I'm doing in this dimension. So high vibrations. Once they were monks, did they go to a kind of work in the libraries? Yeah, like in the Middle Ages, yeah, like especially in the Dark Ages, um, many of them, yeah, like basically the priests and the monks were like the only ones who could read and write. So that was a luxury during that era. And yeah, like some of them had duties of copying books, and you had to copy them manually. And they had these super thick codexes that they copied, and some monks only were able to like write 10 or 15 codexes in their lifetime, because it was also very beautifully decorated, so it was a ton of work to do them. So yeah, it's much nicer right now. Basically, you can just write something digitally and you can print it out in millions of copies. Yeah, like I'm also going to drop an interesting info. Like I think I've mentioned it a few times that I'm like writing and recording a book with Thoth, the Atlantean. It's like the continuation of the emerald tablets of Thoth, and it's basically the same spirit. The knowledge that is coming through has a very similar energy to that of the emerald tablets, and it has 22 chapters. It has been recorded. Now I'm processing it. I'm writing the foreword, some explanations, and stuff like that. So yeah, like maybe I'm going to release it to some people for beta reading or something similar before I publish it publicly. We will have to see. I will still have to draw the cover of it and some symbols in the first pages. I want to have it like, I don't know, like any of you know, the sun disk with the two serpents and like wings coming out of the sun. That probably many of you know that symbol. Uh, that's like the symbol that is put above the gates that lead into the temple. So I want to have that kind of vibe, and that's also kind of what the foreword says that I've recorded with Tove. That okay, like you're going to uh, get the keys to the temple, basically. So the recordings don't hold in of themselves basic knowledge, I would say. Yeah, like it has maybe activations in it, like assisting you remembering certain stuff, but basically the whole purpose of the book is that they are keys that will allow you to access specific knowledge that is coded within you, basically. Because we are the storehouse of all the knowledge. We're the I think it's that we're the microcosm of the macrocosm or something similar. So everything that already is or ever existed exists within us too. So we have access to this infinite knowledge within us. It also in our DNA we have our history too. And basically these keys will assist you in accessing these repositories of knowledge. But basically they are codes, so it's written in code. If you're not comfortable with with code writing and symbolism and stuff like that, then probably you won't really enjoy it. But yeah, it's not that long, so I don't think it's even going to be like 40 pages. I think it's probably going to be even less. I'm also going to like release it on my site as a PDF if you don't have an ebook, but I want to make like a free ebook of it and publish it maybe on Amazon or some kind of platforms that house these stuff so that people can access it more easily. Maybe if I publish it on Amazon, then maybe it will pop up for people that are interested in similar stuff and like allow it to spread that way. That would be really nice. We will have to see how how it unfolds. But yeah, like currently it's almost done, but I'm still like I'm going to like uh, I think it's called beta reading. Yeah, like I'm going to give it to some people to read it basically before I publish it. So if any of you are familiar with archaic English or ancient texts or any of these stuff, then you can contact me through my email address. You have it below in the description below, and I may just give you permission or yeah, like I'm going to do like a backup copy, and I may give you permission through Google Docs to view it, and probably I won't give you permission to edit it, but who knows? We will see. We will see how it goes. So yeah, like if any of you want to read it or you are familiar with these types of texts, because most of it is basically in this archaic English. So if you don't like that type of language, then it's probably not for you. Or it's no point in bothering reading the half or the almost finished product, basically. Okay, so yeah, like if any one of you is interested, please let me know. Not in the comments, but write me an email. And when it's kind of already done, I'm going to contact you. Or I'm going to write back through email. So, okay, let's see. I kind of fallen behind with the questions. I also lived many lives in past centuries. but many lives in this present time-space reality also. Yeah, like for me, it's very interesting that I kind of only remember these distant past stuff. Yeah, like I don't really have any incarnation knowledge or remembrance of maybe the past few centuries, the last incarnations that I remember, and it's remotely, no, they're very close to our time frames, basically the Renaissance period. Maybe I did have something, or maybe it's like insignificant for this lifetime right now, and I just don't remember it consciously. Who knows? Okay, so higher vibrations, can't wait. Okay, thank you. Epiphany, thank you for the compliment. Okay, so Ellie, alchemy is where I'm drawn. I didn't know anything about it. Wow, that you just said resonated with me. Yeah, like the messages that I shared with Thoth, the Atlantean, I have a playlist with those videos. If you're interested in it, you can check it out. They are basically, I have like 4 chapters that I did videos with in January, and those are the recordings. But now I'm also going to do like an audiobook with it when it's done, but I'm going to record it later on. I also going to like publish it as separate little videos, but I'm also going to do like a big audiobook. I think you can publish free audiobooks too, right? I think so. We will have to see. Yeah, for the easy, for it is more easier to consume for some. For example, I like to listen to audiobooks. I haven't read a book in, I think, like 7 years. I didn't have any time for it. Okay, so high vibrations. I'm getting first age post Atlantis the past 2 days. Before that was mainly Druid. Oh, okay. Like I don't have a conscious connection with the Druids or Camelot or these Britannic stuff. I don't remember any of those, but yeah. Or maybe Far East. I don't have that either. Yeah, like Fritzy has just no. He's awake. Fritzy's awake. Wow, priestess at home. I meditate 3 times a day right now. Well, that's amazing. I don't really have time for it, but yeah, great. It's awesome if you can do that. Ali, Thoth is really familiar to me. Birds are my spirit guides, where I connect with birds, and it's beautiful. What is like, connecting and channeling with him? Now that's an interesting question. It has changed a lot during the past few months, basically. At first, when I reconnected with him, it was during a past life regression. I haven't really felt God knows what during that, but I think I reconnected with him like much more consciously when I was listening to the Emerald Tablets. Like I also have it in the playlist that the audiobook that I listened to, the Green Tablets of An, I think that's how it's called. I think it's the best and most amazing interpretation of the Emerald Tablets. I really love the whole vibe and atmosphere of that reading. It really puts you, and also has like some kind of, I think it's like bilinear, or how it's called, those background tunes that like put you in an alter state. It also has something similar in the background, and yeah, like it really puts you in an alter state of being, even if you read the book, or at least if it resonates with you. It kind of alters your consciousness and puts you like in a different state of functioning mentally. At least that's how it functions for me. And after I listened to the recording of the Emerald Tablets for like 2 or 3 days, yeah, like I listened to it so much, and especially if you like listen to something or to a song or whatever, and when you don't listen to it, then you can like have this sensation that the same words or the same tones kind of like circulate in your mind unwillingly. And after a time, I like realized that yeah, like that speaking kind of continued, and I was getting like more information like that. And after a time, I kind of like asked questions of the voice, and I got the answers. And after that, I had the urge to like, okay, like I'm getting all this information, like let's sit down and write. And basically I kind of got like a trigger for it. Like I got a very clear like a verse from a poem from a transmission, and that was like maybe like 5 lines. And I got that very clearly, and after I have written down those 5 lines, like the rest just like flooded out and just came out basically. And that's how I wrote the 22 chapters of this these keys of activation basically by Thoth. And in the beginning was, yeah, like it came through very strongly, and I also got like Atlantean activations of the ancient language of Atlantis and stuff like that. Like during my while I was in a trance state, I've seen like symbols, their writings basically, and I tried to read it out like in light language, but it was so complicated and strange that it made my head hurt. So I stopped. I think they are like so, the tunes and the symbols in it are so complex that it's we're not used to it, I think. And also what's interesting that I also studied the hieroglyphs, their symbolism, and after that I have seen the Atlantean version, and I've studied again the hieroglyphs. I was just looking at it like, oh my god, like this is like scribbles by children compared to the original symbols. And it's basic. I kind of got the sensation that the Egyptian hieroglyphs are like a simplified and maybe like not dumbed down version of the original Atlantean symbols. So they're not as complex as the original symbols that the Atlanteans used. But yeah, like the people that survived the cataclysm had to like simplify their knowledge and doctrines and writings so the people of Egypt basically were able to perceive it and to learn it. Okay, so water child, I'm making an orgonite while listening to you. Oh, that's very beautiful. I'm also going to make some organites maybe next year or who knows. I want to try it out myself. I've gotten a very interesting formula for it. So priestess at home, I was my great grandmother about 200 years ago. That's an interesting experience to remember. So Ali, higher vibrations, I'm feeling that a lot, Atlantis and Celtic. Okay, so higher vibrations, what do you think about the slow exposure of the political stuff we are getting right now? Wow, like we don't really preoccupy with politics in this region, but or during these talks, but yeah, like I think it's stuff or at least are coming out slowly but nicely. Yeah, like the muggles need to readjust to what is happening and the information that is slowly trickling out is like preparing people who are ready to see what is actually happening or what has happened. And if you're, I mean, like, I don't think it's very healthy to super immerse yourself in this, maybe the news or stuff that is happening politically. I mean, if you're drawn to it, then please do so. But you won't find that God knows what yet, in my opinion, because it's a slow transition. It needs to be gradual, so it's not shocking to people who are not ready. But basically, if you already know the story and you will be able to see it and read between the lines and see that stuff is really coming out and starting to become much more stronger. And yeah, like if you follow it, I don't follow it every day, but yeah, like I can see like from day to day or week to week, definitely more and more and more and more and more stuff is coming to the forefront. Yeah, like everyone who has eyes and wants to see will see what is happening or what or make the connections. And yeah, like I had a talk with my wife that yeah, like it's so obvious right now, like what the hell it has happened and what is happening right now that only those people don't see it who don't want to see it, basically. Yeah. I think like Simon Parks was like that. Yeah, like people that don't see it right now are like brain dead or something similar. But yeah, then he corrected the statement. But I think that yeah, like people who don't want to see it are the only ones that don't see it, basically. Just as the same thing with UFOs and all these airy-fairy, like interesting, like, yeah, like metaphysical stuff and spirituality. The people that don't want to see it or don't want to make the connections won't see it. Even if they see a UFO or an alien presents themselves before them, they will rationalize it and like make excuses for it because it wasn't what it really was. It was something else. Yeah. So yeah, like just go with it. Like I don't know, like go with those stuff. Yeah, like accept that people do think like that. Also, we do to a certain extent. Like when we are faced with something very unpleasant or something that is very much outside of our comfort zone, basically, then we can go also in that state. Like I don't want to work with that right now, and I'm going to like, I don't know, like skip it or rationalize it or say that it's not really that what it really is, but it's something else. And yeah, like partially it's called cognitive dissonance, but yeah, like there are many degrees for that too, basically. But yeah, like I think like many people are going to go through cognitive dissonance, just as we were. At least I was in that state too, for especially in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, when I was like faced with all this crap and how stuff worked behind the scenes and what is really going on the planet Earth. And yeah, like I was in cognitive dissonance too for quite some time. But the yeah, like we had the luxury of time, at least back then. Or maybe if you had your awakening like a few years ago or 2 years ago, you at least had the luxury of like coping with it, digesting the information, maybe researching even more to see like how this works and like put everything into its place. But people who are going to like wake up now, I think it's going to be very shocking for some. And yeah, like we are here to anchor the energy of balance and stability because there's going to be a lot of imbalance. I think I had like when I was having a walk today, I got this sensation that yeah, like stuff, there was a great upheaval when people were locked into their houses and stuff like that, and nobody knew what was happening or what this whole thing was. There was a great upheaval in the collective consciousness, but I kind of got the sensation there's going to be like an even greater chaotic upheaval when people gradually start to realize and have this, oh my god, a moment of holy crap, like what did just happen? Or what did I just get into my body? Yeah, no, okay. So, higher vibrations, what do you think? I just answered that. Okay. Jacaranda Marie sends her love and regards. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. She cannot make it today. Ali, my comments keep getting cut off. Well, I have too much I want to speak about this crazy. Yours are feeling this also. Yeah, like you can only have like 200 characters in a comment, so you can't paste in the script of Star Wars in the comment section. It's kind of limiting, but hey, like this is what we have currently, what we have to work with. Okay, yeah, people are chatting with one another. That's beautiful. Okay, so Ellie, I am hopeless at this into high vibrations. Yeah, like if anyone has any questions, then please write it now because we are nearing the end of our live event. So if anyone has any questions, then please write it down and I will do my best to answer it. Yeah, and high vibrations, the symbols are the most activating. Yeah, like you can have symbols in geometry or in art, or you can have like symbols in writing, just as the emerald tablets are, for example, and all these mystical teachings are basically riddles and symbols. They are in code, not just because they are more activating, they can like have multiple functions, just like maybe the hieroglyphs or the Atlantean symbols. They have like multiple meanings and combinations with one another, but it also kind of like a protective mechanism, so people who are not in tune with that knowledge won't be able to understand the symbol, won't be able to understand the symbolism of the words and all the metaphors and parables and contradictions and paradoxes in the mystical writings. So this is kind of like yeah, like if you are not a true seeker or you don't devote enough time and energy for it, for studying and to clearing yourself, and basically you will not, their secrets won't reveal themselves to you. Okay, no wait. Okay, more of the shift of truth versus politics, I suppose. I didn't word that well. Okay, yeah, like interesting that truth versus politics. Yeah, like that's a great combination of polarity. But I believe our politics will lean towards a more balanced way of being in the coming months and years and decades. At least the more we go into this new earth paradigm. Okay, higher vibrations. The collective needs to have the information come in as low as possible. Yup, it makes those of us who already know about it need to work on our patience. Yes, absolutely. That's also what I'm getting all the time. Like be patient. Just do your own thing. Just do your own thing and be patient. Yeah, like be grounded, take care of yourself and do your thing and just be patient. Like stay still and everything will be fine. Okay. So time. Okay, so just feeling moved to share love for you, you do and the guidance you provide from Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you, Tracy. What a beautiful place to be. Also, like there were the Phoenix lights in Arizona. I mean, in Phoenix, in Arizona. I think it was in the 90s, and it was like a beautiful symbolism for the rebirth to a new reality. If you want to research more the Phoenix lights. So, Ellie, I've always been awake to their being a veil and had spiritual experience, but didn't understand anything until over a year ago. All of a sudden, I knew it was amazing and everything made sense. Yeah, that's basically a spiritual awakening. That's awesome. Thank you, Fenya. Hello, Fenya. Have you any questions, Fenya? Because we are going to close soon our live event. But if you have any questions or you wish to share something, we're going to stay online until we have addressed your statement or question. So, higher vibrations, inner work is what we are meant to do at this time. Yeah, like I'm getting the same thing that before 2020, or at least the spring of 2020, I did a lot of planetary work, working with the energies of Mother Earth, like a globe, balancing stuff, bringing in more of the higher vibrations and anchoring it here. But even though, like on the surface, things seem to be like in an upheaval and in great chaos and confusion, I'm not really guided to balance those energies in a way that I did so far. Like in the past few months, I was like strongly guided to work on myself and to remember stuff and to work with my own energies and to basically to I think like go to a next level of who I am and what I can do here on earth. And yeah, like it's interesting, like when you think about it consciously, we'll think like, okay, like all of this chaotic stuff is happening and I'm here to balance it out. Like probably we are balancing out with balancing our own selves, I think, and anchoring that, unfolding our new self, our new way of being, probably. Yet yeah, it's very strange that I was not really guided to do planetary work for the past few months. Maybe it's not needed anymore. I kind of got a sensation that, yeah, like there was a great tipping point in 2020 of March. Yeah, in March, there was like a huge influx of new energies coming in. And even though like in the physical it didn't manifest and it's now just only starting to being seen in the physical, yeah, like we passed the tipping point, like it was decided back in March, like what is going to happen. or like, like in figuratively speaking, in quotation marks, the battle has been decided in March last year, and now stuff need to unfold. Now this doesn't mean that we don't have to take care of ourselves and be balanced and discerning. But yeah, like we are in the physical reality, like stuff doesn't don't move as quickly or things are not as fluid as up there. So we have to be patient and also to anchor this energy more and more so we have a smooth transition basically. Okay, so Ali, I put something in the comments earlier as it was too much to get in the chat. Maybe you guys could read it afterwards. Yeah, it was regarding, I think, protecting the animals of the forest from like hunters or unbalanced human beings who want to harm the wildlife, basically. Hey, like you could also ask for the assistance of Mother Earth, Archangel Michael, or whatever protective guardians that you have in that region, and activate them and put them at the job of protecting the nature and wildlife as much as possible. So all the animals and also the plants are protected. So Jocelyn, high vibrations. I have been wondering what we do with all this knowledge we are remembering. My husband always asks, what is the practical application of all of this? I say, I don't know. Yeah, like we're remembering it and we're integrating it. I think it's basically our activation. Like, how can you move forward consciously and create a new reality if you don't even remember where you came from or who you are? Like, we have to remember our past in order to move forward, in my opinion. And it's also like, yeah, like truth coming to the forefront. Like, we were denied our history throughout our history. Yeah, like, we were denied to know our true history, our heritage. Like, as Graham Hancock says, we are raised with amnesia, basically. We don't remember our past. And it was deliberately hidden, even though the mystery schools and secret teachings try to preserve it to a certain extent, but yeah, like we don't have a clear view of our past. We have all the monuments and all the remains of an earlier civilization and some legends and myths, but basically that's what we have. Like, there's a lot of alternative archaeology that has been preoccupied in the past decades to uncover this past. So if you're interested in it, research Graham Hancock's work. That he's freaking amazing, because he also looks at this whole subject also from a spiritual point of view, not just from an analytical and scientific point of view, but also from a spiritual and holistic point of view. That's why I love him for the work that he's doing. And there are also others, like if you search for his work, you will find others too who are connected to him. Okay, it's been awesome, so much to love to everyone. Okay, can you explain that more, Ali? Okay. Oh, like you can do go into a meditation the way that we start our meditations, look up one of them, how it works, and when you're in that connected state, anchoring, being connected to the central sun and to the core of Mother Earth, and from your heart center, yeah, like from that state of being, like ask for guidance from Mother Earth, like what can you do to better assist the wildlife, the environment, to be more protected, to be more balanced. And yeah, like ask a source, ask the central sun, ask the archangels, ask Mother Earth that everything comes back into balance, that nature is protected. And yeah, like just go with it, because stuff will probably come through and it will unfold in a proper way for you at that moment. And you can do it multiple times a week, you can do it every day, it doesn't hurt to ask for guidance and protection. And yeah, like just be patient and be vigilant and see how are you guided to actually assist the protection and preservation of the wild in a balanced an okay manner, basically. Don't go hunting for hunters. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. So, Ali, I speak to him every day. I feel love in my heart when speaking, in my heart, just speaking of him right now. That's great. That means you have like a beautiful and strong connection with Archangel Michael. Yeah, like work with him more and yeah, like see how all your relationship like unfolds and becomes stronger. And you will see that you will be able to do more and more things by connecting with him in this realm too. I mean, if you connect with him in the higher realms and within yourself, you're anchoring his energies. You will, yeah, like new avenues of doing things differently will show themselves to you gradually. You will find that you will have like new ways of, new abilities that you will have gradually as you're ready for it. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me in this spontaneous live event, since usually we have it on the Mondays, but today I had a free day, so we did it today. And yeah, like if I'm going to have an open day next week, we're going to have it too. If not, then don't. Like I don't know. I'm not going to force it anymore because I have a lot to do and my energy and time is limited. And if I have a free day, yeah, like, let's do it. It's always nice to reconnect with all of you. Thank you for being here. Also for chatting for one another and sharing. I will be working on later this year to like, I think I was guided. We were talking about with higher vibrations and Jacaranda Marie and Mandolin about MeWe Pro. Like we would need some kind of platform where we can like communicate much better than through the live chat and through the community tab on YouTube, because YouTube wasn't really built for this. And yeah, like I was guided to Patreon for some reason, and yeah, like I don't know, like we will see how it works. The only thing is that I will have to research it gradually because I don't want to jump into it like unknowingly. But like Lori Ladd uses it very well. Like she creates a very good community there where people can interact with one another. Everyone can post stuff. You can write your experiences down. You can write more than 200 characters. You can write your experiences, questions, and like I want that like not just me but people can like answer one another's question, and also like yeah, like you can share your experiences in a few sentences or maybe in a longer format. That's perfectly fine, because yeah, like we in our immediate environment we don't really have people with whom you can talk about these stuff. So having like this place where we already kind of know one another and we can interact in this way. And also like I know that Patreon has like an option like something similar to what we're doing right now, that we are like, okay, like I'm talking to you and you're chatting, you're present in the chat box, and if I want to, like I can pinpoint someone and I can like give you an invitation to join the video chat. And probably most of you are from listening to this on your phones. So if you're listening to it on your phone, and if I give you an invitation to the chat, you can accept it, and you can yeah, like join the chat, and we can have like a chat live. And I think like multiple peoples can join in and have like a conversation. So that would be really lovely if we could do that. Okay, so Fania has just said something. Can you send an email when you are going online? Yeah, like I leave almost a day before I go online what is this? Like a community tab post with the link and the exact date and hour. That's how I notify everyone. So like check in your YouTube notifications, or yeah, like hit the bell icon and set it for all notifications so you get all my stuff when something's happening. Okay, so what Water Child 23 23. Yes, the real past was deleted from the memory of modern humanity on purpose. Yeah, we barely know our immediate, our recent past too. Like, I don't know about other countries, but here in Romania, like, they've done everything to erase just what happened a few hundred years ago, or maybe before Christianity hit. Like, I'm Hungarian and we don't know what happened before Christianity. Like, yeah, like we barely have nothing. Only like myths or something similar. Like, everything was like erased from our past before Christianity. So, superb. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us, being here. We're kind of a bit overdue, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Enjoy your full moon and solar eclipse. If you haven't watched the video, then yeah, like please check it out. It's live. You can watch it anytime that you want. Enjoy your transformation going through the ring of fire, going through this portal that we're going through right now. It's going to be probably very intense and like yeah, like stay tuned. Soon it's going to be worth watching the news again. So thank you for joining me and have a wonderful week.